All right, so this week, Trump has been pushing the limits of the law on every front, including military strikes and immigration crackdowns on American cities. This weekend, ICE launched its latest operation in Massachusetts, part of Trump's pledge to punish so-called sanctuary cities. That's in addition to similar crackdowns already in place in Los Angeles, Chicago, and, of course, Washington, D.C. Now, at the same time, Trump is abusing his powers abroad. He ordered a strike on a boat he claimed was carrying drugs without any evidence or legal justification, killing 11 people on board. Even Senator Rand Paul criticized J.D. Vance for defending that attack and brushing off the fact it could be a war crime, calling it a despicable and thoughtless sentiment to glorify killing someone without a trial. Joining us now is Massachusetts Congressman Seth Moulton, a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you for making time for us. Your response to Donald Trump threatening to use the Department of what he now calls war in Chicago, does this make you at all concerned about what's next for your state?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this guy is a thug. I mean, it's kind of amazing that the president of the United States aspires to be a thug. Some people aspire to be war heroes like John McCain. Some people want to be great scientists like those who, save us because they've done cancer research, the kind of funding, the kind of science that Trump and his administration are canceling right now. But Trump literally looks up to thugs. He looks up to thugs like Putin and Kim Jong-un across the world, and he's now trying to be that here at home. It's not much more complicated than that.
Can I ask you point blank what you or how you view the U.S. strike on this Venezuelan boat, the allegations from the Trump administration, although undermined by a lot of the reporting, concern from experts that it may have actually been a migrant boat instead? Do you see that action as a war crime? And should Congress have been consulted before anything happened there?
Here's the key point. I'm a sitting member of the House Armed Services Committee, and I have no idea because we have not been briefed. And that breaks the Constitution. Maybe there's convincing evidence that this was a drug boat or other criminals. Maybe there's convincing evidence that it was completely innocent people. But Trump is flaunting the Constitution by not involving Congress, the branch designed under the Constitution to declare war, not even consulting us on this decision before or after. In fact, when he had some briefings scheduled with Congress last week, they were postponed conveniently because they're obviously afraid to go before Congress and provide any of the evidence that may or may not exist.
Congressman, let's keep talking about that a bit. J.D. Vance said that the strike was the best use of the American military. Do you see the strike on that target as an appropriate use of military force as aircrafts, as F-35s are landing in Puerto Rico, and there is speculation that there might be more strikes in remote Venezuelan territories to hit drug targets?
Well, I'm glad that we're consulting a combat photographer for the best use of the U.S. military, because that's what J.D. Vance did. I mean, look, the bottom line is that it's absolutely not the best use of the U.S. military because we have a very clear national defense strategy, a strategy that was put in place by multiple administrations, including the Trump administration, that designates China as the principal adversary of the United States. So when you're diverting resources from China, including nuclear subs. They have a nuclear sub off Venezuela. I'm not exactly sure what they intend to do with a nuclear sub against drug traffickers, but clearly they're not following their own national defense strategy. And that's just dangerous for the national security of the United States. That's dangerous for deterrence. It's dangerous for preventing wars. It certainly doesn't make Trump a harbinger of peace, as he tries to proclaim as he builds up his own case to get a Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
And does it put Americans in places like Puerto Rico at risk at this moment as tensions continue to rise?
Yes, and it also puts Americans at risk in the Pacific, in Europe, in places where we're not providing this deterrent that we should be providing around the globe. I mean, this is just complete lawlessness. And the point is that there's no national security justification for making these decisions. I mean, you can say in a narrow sense of the world that, that we don't want drugs into the United States, and so we can use means to prevent them. But when you step back and look at our national security priorities across the world, as agreed to by this own administration, administration, these actions don't line up. And so you have to ask, okay, then what's left? It's obviously just political theater. He cares more about his image on Twitter or Truth Social or whatever he cares about than what's actually necessary to protect us, the citizens of the United States of America, and to properly use our troops.
To that, to what end do you think all of this is being orchestrated for, Congressman? I think there have been some that have suggested perhaps he wants to test the waters and see what he can get away with, to perhaps do something like this against cartels in Mexico. There are some who've suggested the constant state of international crises for him distracts from the Epstein files, allows him to do things with the National Guard in American cities. I'm just curious to get, even the governor of Illinois, Pritzker, said that, you know, he was doing this to basically affect the outcome of the midterm elections and beyond. I'm curious how you look at it from a big picture or a 30,000-foot approach.
Well, if you're asking me to tell you exactly what Trump is thinking, I'm not a child psychologist, so I would never dare
ask you that or anyone that.
But the bottom line is that he's not doing what he says he's doing, which is protecting the United States of America. And I think all of the theories or ideas you've laid out there are certainly plausible. I mean, this guy is constantly trying to distract attention. And one lesson that I certainly learned with the first Trump administration, and has been proven true time and again in the second, is that when you imagine Trump could do something bad, he'll probably do something worse. So we don't know what's coming next.
We're almost out of time, so it's almost a yes or no question. I'm not sure if you saw our earlier conversation about whether Democrats should shut down the government in the weeks ahead. Would you support Democrats in the House?
Absolutely. I'm not going to say just yes or no. I'm going to say absolutely, because Republicans own everything in the government. If they can't keep it open, we should be willing to stand up for our priorities.
And that is a yes or no question that got a yes or no answer. So thank you so much, Congressman Seth Moulton. Thank you.